Good afternoon. Commencement will begin shortly. At this time, please silence all cell phones and mobile devices. And if you'll allow me to direct your attention to your program, you'll notice that we have provided links to all your favorite social media sites. The QR codes in the program will allow you to quickly scan, post, and tag the graduates we're here to honor today. We invite you to show off your pride and support your graduates by sharing your pictures. Congratulations and good wishes online.
and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Hello, and welcome to the John Hancock Hall at the Back Bay Event Center. For your safety and comfort, please take a moment to identify the exits nearest your seat. Please note that the exit may be behind you. In the case of an emergency, should we need to evacuate, we ask that you walk to the nearest exit. Once outside, please move away from the building. Thank you for turning off all cell phones and electronic devices.
Welcome everyone to the 2018 commencement exercises for New England College of Business and Finance. At this time, I ask everyone to please stand or remain standing for the singing of the national anthem by a cappella group Vinyl Street. Please be seated. Thanks, Vinyl Street, for those beautiful harmonies. So, graduates, is this not the best day of the year? Okay, now wait a second. Please give me an audible answer. We're in a call and response mode. Is this not the best day of the year? Okay. Is this not the best weather day of the year? Did we not throw you a parade today? Actually, we're so thrilled for the success of the Pride Parade, but we are here today to talk about your success. And what a day for taking pictures and enjoying the city. But I do have a serious question. Graduates, do you agree that without your families and friends, many of whom are in attendance today, you could not have made this day? Okay, a little louder. Okay, then all you have to do, please stand up. I'm going to ask the stage party to stand as well. Stand up, turn around, and give your friends and families a big hand of applause. Okay, great. Because we at NECB believe that as we honor you today, that honor extends to them because they've helped you get here. Again, I'd like to welcome everyone to the graduation, and I want to particularly welcome those of you who have come from a long distance. You know, now that all our academic programs are fully online, we have students studying with the college in 30 states and 8 countries. So we are awarding 353 degrees with this commencement, but just about under half of our graduates are physically here today. But many have come from long distances. And for many of you graduates who have been studying online, you're actually meeting your classmates for the first time. So I just want to take a quick poll. How many of you have come from a distance of more than 50 miles? Just show your hands. Wow, that's great. That's about half of you. How many of you have flown in today? Great. How many of you have flown in, and you have to know a little geography for this. I think you studied that. 2,000 miles or more. Fantastic. Okay. Now, how many of you have flown in from another continent? Could you stand if you have? Okay. Now, I have to say, I kind of cheated on that one because last night at the alumni reception, I met Doreen from Uganda. Yes, Doreen and her husband Robert has probably traveled further than any previous NECB graduate to be at a commencement. But Doreen also represents something historic for NECB. She is among the first group of doctoral graduates that NECB has had, as we now offer the Doctorate in Business Administration and Quality Systems Management. And so I also want to acknowledge with another particular welcome all of our graduating students in quality management, also at the bachelor's and master's level, as they did most of their coursework at a school called the National Graduate School of Quality Management, and that's now become a part of NECB. And we couldn't be more thrilled to have you with us, to have NGS as a school within NECB, and to continue the tradition of quality management programs. And of course, we like being at the doctoral level, and we plan to add more doctoral degree programs in the years to come. As I mentioned, we have graduates from all over the country. So enable them to have some level of participation, we're actually streaming on YouTube. So you can find us at https://www.youtube. That's a joke, okay? Because that could go on. It's about 20 iterations here. You can probably just Google NECB and commencement and find it on YouTube. But you know, we actually do have a YouTube tradition that we need to carry out before we get to our speakers. And this tradition started about 10 years ago when I was speaking to some other college presidents. And they said, well, you have a commencement? Don't these people already have jobs? And do they really care about getting their degree? Because they were, of course, dealing with their young kids who are, graduating at age 21, 22, and they're super excited. And I said, our students are truly excited. I mean, they've had to overcome many, many more obstacles. The fact that they have jobs and they have families and they have mortgages, graduating just means they can get back to a normal life. So we started a tradition, and it's not too complicated. What we do is we have, when I count to 3, we have the undergraduate students simply say, yippee. And because it's a bit more complex for the graduate students, we reserve woohoo. So what I'm going to do is and then we put it on YouTube to just validate that you are excited about your graduation. So for the first is undergraduates, then graduates, and then we're going to ask the whole audience on the third 1, 2, 3 all together. If you have an undergraduate that's graduating, yippee, graduate, woohoo, and then we'll be done. Okay, ready? Undergraduates, 1, 2, 3. Yippee! Graduates, 1, 2, 3. Woo! Everybody, 1, 2, 3. Woo! Okay, I'm sure we're going to get 5,000 hits on that tonight. Okay. Okay, now I'm about to introduce our first speaker, but before I do, I want you to know that we care so much about our students, and we care so much about our mission to be affordable and high quality, but every organization has a leadership group. And at our organization, at our college, we have a board of trustees. And we're fortunate, in my view, and I've been in higher education for 30 years in Boston, to have the best board of trustees of any college in the area. And I'm not saying that pejoratively or with hyperbole. We have a fantastic board, and our chair is going to introduce you to them briefly, those that are in attendance today. But the board is very important to us because they're making sure that we fulfill that mission and that we keep the students at the forefront of what we do at NECB. So to represent the board, I'm going to ask to bring up its chairman. Our chairman, Scott Harshbarger, is the former district attorney of Middlesex County. He is the former Attorney General of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. He is the former candidate for the Democratic Party for governor. Very importantly, he left politics for a while to become the president of Common Cause, which, for those of you who don't know it, it's an organization that's critical, keeping an eye on our government and our corporate governance to make sure we're doing the right things in this country. And Scott also was a halfback at that college across the river with the crimson colors. So he has a little bit of an athlete, but we mainly know him as, he's a senior counsel at Kastner and Edwards, but we mainly know him as our chair. So Scott, would you please come to the podium and bring regards from the trustees?
I will spare you highlights of my career on the field, but it's a great honor to be here and to be with all of you. And on behalf of the Board of Trustees, allow me to add my congratulations to each and every one of you and the family members who have supported you throughout this extended process. I also want to extend my thanks not only to our executive team led by Howard, but also and especially our faculty for their leadership, their dedication, and their quality. In your program, you will see the list of the Board of Trustees, and you'll also have a chance, of course, to look at the bios of our two honorees, and I hope you'll take a look at that. But I just want to recognize the board members who are here with me today, one of whom is our Vice Chair, Kate Donovan, who is the Senior Global VP for Manpower Solutions, is to my right. Second with Carol Fulp, who is CEO of the Partnership, an outstanding organization in Boston and nationally. And our newest board members, Marcela Aldaz-Matos of Partners Healthcare, where she serves as Director of Diversity and Inclusion, and who walked 10 blocks today in her cast as well to be here. And Dr. Robert Antonucci, who's former Mass Commissioner of Education, former President of Fitchburg State University, and immediate past President of the National Graduate School of Quality Management, which is now a part of NECB. This is a challenging time in our country. A dramatic political divide exists, focused more on race, gender, geography, ideology, and culture than on party. Political leadership that focuses more on sharpening the divides than finding common ground and disrupting norms and standards more than building credibility and community. And an economic inequality gap at a time of our greatest market values, with 1% of the people holding 82% of the wealth. This is mirrored by an equally dramatic divide in the views of the role and responsibility of our business leaders and their relationship to government, consumers, shareholders, and the broader community. You are the next generation of our entrepreneurs and business managers, and hopefully are engaged citizens in our democracy. This is the political, economic, and cultural landscape for you. And I'd like to briefly offer my perspective and introduce you to an entrepreneur who I consider to be your role model in navigating this landscape. This is an era of inflated business egos, compensation, and impact and influence, of dramatic income inequality, as I mentioned, and outrageous excesses in the guise of business innovation success stories. In an era of private gain too often at the expense of the public interest and the 99%, all justified and sanctioned by the market, entrepreneurship, competition, an era in which we actively support tax cuts that amount to welfare for the too big to fail corporations and abandonment of the health and economic safety net of the too small to save individual. Yet I still believe it is crucial to our economic well-being and the essence of our democratic values of equity, fairness, and belief that as a community we're all in this together. As I said, if you look at Diane Hessen's bio, a business leader, a serial entrepreneur, researcher, and author, she is the role model who's integrated and repeatedly demonstrate those values in this time of great division, when respect for the rule of law, respect for good governance and ethical conduct seem to be the exception, in an era where the law clearly does not apply equally to all of us, and anger, fear, and frustration seem to be tearing us apart. She's the founder and chairperson of C-Space, formerly CommuSpace, which for the last decade has been one of the hottest companies in the Boston innovation economy. C-Space disrupted the market research industry with its online communities, used by major brands to gain inside inspiration from their consumers. She's now parlayed this expertise into researching voters across the United States, first for the Clinton campaign, and now on her own, And she's personally interviewed nearly 1,000 voters from all states, ages, and ends of the political spectrum, and is now online with them weekly. It takes little courage to remain silent, to stay on the sideline, and thereby support the powerful, the influential, and the comfortable. And as you will see in any of her incisive and powerful opinion pieces in the Boston Globe, she is watching trends, digging deep, and looking for common ground, and writing and speaking about it, to the discomfort of the comfortable and the comfort of those who believe that democracy is not a spectator sport and the reform is not for the short-winded. For me, in this climate, she is the profile in courage as a business leader, engaging actively in fulfilling the duties of the office of citizen, demonstrating repeatedly that while we can and must combine initiative, entrepreneurship, robust competition, and reward success, she combines that with a deep sense of corporate responsibility and community service, recognizing that no one made it here on their own. That, my friends, is what we hope NECB stands for, and that you, our graduates, will represent. So I congratulate you and wish you luck. And now I ask you to please join me in welcoming to the podium Diane Hessen, our 2018 recipient of the NECB Award for Distinguished Community Service and recipient of an honorary doctoral degree in commerce. Diane Hessen.
Wow, I'm very touched by that. Thank you. Thank you, Scott. Thank you to the faculty and deans, and especially the class of 2018. I will tell you, I cannot think of a higher honor than to be recognized for service to my community. So here's a quick story for you. Recently, I was walking down the Greenway in Boston, right near South Station. If you're from Boston, you know where that is. If you took the train or a bus here, you also know where that is. But it was a beautiful spring day. We had survived a horrible winter this year, and the city had planted all of these flowers outside along Atlantic Avenue. Everything was in bloom, and we were all in a good mood. And there was a woman walking in front of me with a briefcase. She was looking very professional, and suddenly I saw her. She stopped, and she crouched down, and she started picking the flowers. So I was appalled, and I ran up to her, and I said, "Stop, like those aren't yours. They belong to the public." So what do you think happened next? Well, if you can believe it, she muttered something to me about being part of the public, and she kept picking more. So I'm freaking out. I'm saying, "Please stop." And she finally stood up, put a bunch of flowers in her bag, and walked on. So I was so mad I decided to stalk her. And I took a photo of her, I put it on Instagram, I decided what happened. It was my most commented photo I've ever had. And you know, as I thought about this situation, it struck me that this woman has a completely different worldview than most of us. She thinks it's all about her. She thinks life is about maximizing her own well-being and the heck with everybody else. I thought she shouldn't be picking the flowers. I thought she should be watering them because they are ours, and we're all part of this community. It's the same when it comes to education. From what I've heard about this class, you've all worked really hard to get to this day. And many of you are getting a degree not just for yourselves, but for others who depend on you. Earning a degree from NECB requires an enormous commitment and motivation to achieve something in life and a desire to think about the greater good. So like many of you, I was the first person in my family to go to college. I grew up in a steel town outside of Philadelphia, and college was my big dream. I made it through, and so many people helped me along the way. My parents scraped and saved. A group of donors made sure that I had the kind of financial aid I needed. I had a great boss for my work-study program and more. What about you? Who got you to this room today? Stop for a minute and just close your eyes and picture those people. Was it a parent who made a big sacrifice? Was it a boss who gave you extra overtime? Was it a friend who ran an errand for you? Was it a family member, maybe a spouse, maybe a child who supported you when you needed it most? Who watered your flowers? And although it's so important to acknowledge who helped you, the even more important question as you leave this room is, who will you help? After all, you are now part of the elite. Do you know that according to the Census Bureau, you are now in the top 7% of educated people in the world? Even in the US, most people do not have any degree higher than high school, and only 34% of citizens have a bachelor's degree. So, if you're part of the top tier, you need to lead. You cannot pick the public's flowers. As you graduate and go out into the world, remember, no one does anything important by themselves. We are here and celebrating because we stood on the shoulders of others. And now the question is, what do we do in return? Will you be like that woman? Some people are. They're the ones who throw cigarette butts on the street. They speed through traffic lights, they cut the line, and when a car slows down for them in an intersection, they walk across the intersection really slowly. But there is an alternative. You don't have to be like that. You can make a much bigger difference in the world if you honor the people who helped you get to this point by becoming like them. When this ceremony is over, thank your family and friends for their support, and then tell them that you will honor them by helping others. When you go out there and interview for jobs and someone asks you what you want to do in your career, tell them you want a job where you're part of a team doing something bigger than yourself, that you want to help other people realize their dreams. When you have a friend in need, be there. When you have a sibling who's also trying to get a college degree, cheer them on. When someone's running for office who can do things that are important for the world, go vote for them instead of staying home and saying you don't have time to vote. It is easy in this crazy world to just think about ourselves. But when our selfish needs become more important than the good of the whole, we lose. We make a difference in the world by creating a culture of paying it forward and by honoring our community. And today, I honor all of you. Congratulations to the class of 2018, and go water some flowers. Thank you.
Diane, thank you for those really wonderful and inspirational remarks, for planting those seeds in our graduates. Thank you. How many of you have ever broken a bone? A lot of you, I'm sure. I don't know if any of you are paying attention, but the Boston Celtics had quite a run this year. It didn't start out so well, though. Just 5 minutes into the season, Gordon Hayward, who was making his Celtics debut, just signed a big contract and came to Boston to be the guy, collided in midair with another player, landed awkwardly, and fractured his left tibia. It was devastating to watch, both physically and emotionally, for a team and a fan base with such astronomical aspirations. A setback that could have cost them everything. But the team willed itself to near the top of the Eastern Conference, even when a second superstar, Kyrie Irving, went down late in the year, and all hope seemed lost for the Celtics. But they just kept winning. Well-traveled veterans picked up the slack, while young, untested players overperformed every single night, coming within just one game of getting to the NBA National Finals. Gordon Hayward's tibia may have been fractured, but his team decidedly had not. They showed we are stronger together than we are as individuals. We can overcome hardship as long as we agree on what lies ahead for all of us. But our political and social climate has become so polarized that it's becoming harder and harder to find that common ground, even sometimes with our dearest friends and loved ones. We as a nation are struggling to overcome an expanding fracture because we can't seem to agree on where we're going. Shared goals are ever elusive, and there certainly isn't, pardon my French, any compromise between the major parties. But compromise wasn't always considered a dirty word. In fact, this country was built on one. When we were just 13 colonies, we had different views of the ideal government, of how representation should be divvied up. Do states with more people get more of a say, as the colonists in Virginia and New York wanted? Or does each state have an equal right and an opportunity to guide the nation, as the colonists in Rhode Island and New Jersey wanted? The answer, of course, was a compromise known as the Connecticut Compromise. The new country would have a bicameral legislature whose chambers were based on the ideals of both sides of the debate, working in unison for the good of the nation as a whole, a House of Representatives that's based on population, and a Senate that keeps all the states on equal footing. Without that compromise, we don't have our Constitution, and we don't have our country. And yet that's how compromise works. If it can't be my ideals, or it can't be your ideals, perhaps we find a way to make them our ideals. But compromise only worked for our young nation because despite the difference of ideals, there was a greater goal to be achieved. The colonists may have had different ideals about the form of new government, but they also stood firm and had passion and shared a unifying principle that we would no longer have taxation without representation. So ideals were compromised so we could all be united around principle. And that is the construct I want to put before you today. That ideals are always going to represent what we think is best in any situation, but they can and often should be compromised for a greater good. But just as ideals may be compromised, principles are guideposts that we want to hold to fast. Whether it's in politics, the workplace, or in our homes, we are constantly faced with opportunities to compromise on ideals or to stand our ground on the principles that are essential to our moral and ethical well-being. Principles that we have all agreed to are reflected in our laws and societal norms, like the value of civil liberties and a prohibition against violence. But after that, it gets a bit tricky because our principles exist within ourselves internally as commitments to moral clarity and steadfast ways to guide our actions in and day out activities. But even then, one person's principle can be another person's ideal. For example, there's an ongoing row between Facebook and Apple. A couple of months ago, Apple CEO Tim Cook said in an interview that he'd never let a data breach like the one involving Facebook and Cambridge Analytica happen on his watch. He told the tech blog Recode that Apple could make a ton of money if they monetized their customers, but they elected not to do that. For Apple, data privacy was a principle. Unsurprisingly, that didn't sit well with Mark Zuckerberg, who hit back, saying that Facebook was and will remain a free service, and that means they need to utilize their greatest resource, their users. He told Vox, "Don't let the companies that work hard to charge you more convince you that they actually care more about you." So I'll spare you too much more bickering between the billionaires, but there are some lessons to be learned from this war of words. For Mark Zuckerberg, privacy is an ideal, but one that can sometimes be compromised to provide a totally free service that puts the world at your fingertips. But for Apple, the position is a bit more clear-cut. Create a state-of-the-art product, charge what it costs, keep your customers happy by keeping them. They don't lose customers. But in making an example of Facebook's data breach, Tim Cook is making his company's principle very clear. Customers are not products, and their privacy is not for sale. This has been Apple's core belief back to the days when Steve Jobs was in charge, and he said that privacy means people knowing exactly what they're signing up for and knowing what's going to happen to their data. And I'm not here to put one of these tech giants over another. Regrettably, I'm equally as inept in social media with either product. But it illustrates that in the heady zone of what is principle and what is ideal, we each need to be making our own decisions about which is which. Because in our lives as business leaders, citizens, and family members, we need to be guided by principle, but also be willing to compromise on ideals for the greater good. And I think the trouble begins where every position we have becomes a principle, or perhaps worst case, where there are no principles. On the other hand, in the sphere of ideals, we can be more open to compromise, especially if this will create a greater good. Without a doubt, you will all have time and opportunities to confront compromise as leaders in your workplaces, your homes, your communities. Our honored speaker today, Diane Hessen, who has closely studied the national electorate since 2016, would be the first to tell you that in spite of all that seems to divide us, we're not all that different from one another, and that compromise is closer than we think. To quote one of the greater thinkers of my time, you can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, you just might find you get what you need. So graduates, the ball is officially in your court. Come together with those around you to achieve common goals. Compromise on your ideals in service of the greater good, but always stand firm on your principles. Not an easy game, but one for which you are very now well equipped. I guess the only thing left to say, as they do in showbiz, congratulations, and go out and break a leg. So, as I think about principle, I like the one that facts still matter, and that in our pursuit of truth, we as citizens and scholars rely on facts when we seek the truth, when we formulate our plans. Which brings me to our next speaker, in fact, our commencement speaker, David Wu. Because David deals in facts, difficult, head-spinning, and intricate facts that undergird our economy. He spends his time and directing the time of hundreds under his wing in uncovering facts, researching facts, verifying facts, analyzing facts, and then in so doing, predicting trends and future casting what will happen with our businesses and our economy. To stay with the sports analogy and quoting that great hockey player Wayne Gretzky, David is involved with letting us all know, and in more detail letting his employer know, not where the puck is, but where the puck is going. Or should I say, where the markets are going. And today, business information is big business, as research and analysis is what every company has an edge. And as the information age we are in has provided us with quantum leaps in gathering of data, and hence we've had the development of the concept of big data analytics. And David is one of the foremost economic analysts of our time in looking at that data. As managing director and head of global interest rates, foreign exchange, and emerging market fixed income research, David's longish title is indicative of the breadth and scope of the financial markets he assesses for his employer, Bank of America Merrill Lynch Global Research. We are fortunate because David doesn't always keep all his knowledge to himself or to BOA. He shares it frequently with us as a commentator on CNBC, on Bloomberg TV, and he is widely quoted in the financial press. In fact, David was voted as one of the 12 smartest people on Wall Street by the publication Business Insider. And he also shares his knowledge in service to the field as a professor. He teaches each summer at the Graduate School of Political Management at George Washington University. I'm not sure whether his course on political risk captured this, but David went out on a limb predicting that a Donald Trump victory would turn the market on its head. And regardless of your political affiliation, David's out-of-the-box prediction was verified in November when the stock market rallied and continued to do so. David, here at New England College of Business and Finance, where our roots go way back 109 years into the financial services community, a community we have never left in our own efforts at workforce development, we welcome you to NECB, and we look forward to whatever crystal balling you can provide for our graduates about their futures. Please join me in welcoming David Wu as our 2018 commencement speaker.
Thank you, Howard. It was great. Graduates, I'm really honored to be with you today. And to celebrate this happy day with you, I want to first of all share with you 3 pieces of good news. 1, by completing your bachelor's degree, you've already made the biggest investment of your life. In case you don't know, the unemployment rate for people with a bachelor's degree in this country is only 2%, versus 4% for people with only a high school degree. Moreover, college graduates aged 25 to 34 working part-time, full-time, earn about $20,000 more than those holding only a high school degree. And guess what? This gap is expected to grow only in the coming years. The second good piece of news: you cannot possibly be graduating at a better time, and I really mean it. The unemployment rate last month fell to just 3.8%, the lowest in 17 years. Even though the current economic expansion is already in its 9th year, which is the longest in US post-war history, the US economy is still going really, really strong. I've been traveling around the country talking to CFOs, CEOs of S&P 500 companies, and let me tell you this: business confidence as well as consumer confidence recently are near basically a 10-year, even in some instances 15-year high. And with tax reform having been passed and deregulation starting to happen, we are seeing a strong acceleration in CapEx spending by US businesses. Let me tell you this. A few weeks ago, I was in Chicago meeting with the CFO, one of the largest pharmaceutical companies in this country. And he was telling me, David, yeah, we produce drugs in 40-odd countries, but he said the irony is it costs about the same to build a new factory in Illinois as in Thailand. And he said with this tax reform, the next factory we're going to be building anywhere in the world is probably going to be here in the United States. That was like music to my ear. And because there's no question an increase in CapEx spending is going to help raise productivity growth and wage growth, and ultimately should help reduce the income gap that's been so pervasive in this country. And having been studying the US economy for more than 20 years, I'm proud to say that I've never been this bullish towards the US economic prospect. Now, the third piece of good news is that you are already the most influential generation in this country. Because, most of you guys, I imagine you're millennials, and if there are 90 million of you in this country, you're already the largest generation in US history. Science has given you already a lot of clout. You are reshaping every aspect of how we live in this country, from the way we eat to the emergence of the sharing economy. Because millennials decided to live like the Italians, they'd rather live with their mothers rather than basically go out and basically buy a house of their own. We're seeing actually, household mortgages not being very high right now. So from that point of view, you guys are making a huge difference. And from that point of view, what you will do will determine the future of this country. Now that you have completed your degree, the world is now your oyster. I want to tell you about 3 economic trends that I think you might find very helpful in deciding what you want to do with the rest of your life. Fact number 1, robots are coming. And I don't mean in movies. Some people said we've already arrived in the golden age of robots. This is due to a combination of smarter software and cheaper hardware. A sensor that cost $250,000 in 2010 now costs only $8,000. Artificial intelligence and a new generation of robots will soon revolutionize basically all the workplace. Now, of course, the received wisdom is that automation hurts low-skilled labor. However, the truth is that nobody will be able to escape its implications. And let me tell you, algorithmic trading is already replacing traders on Wall Street. And Wall Street bonus is going down in a big way. Let me tell you this, okay? New advances in pattern recognition is already threatening the jobs of radiologists. And guess what? 95% of the body parts of Tesla's Model 3 cars, okay, are already made by robots. How to make robots your best friend as opposed to your worst enemy is probably the biggest challenge that you're going to be facing for the rest of your career, and I really mean it. The second important economic trend you should be bearing in mind is that demographics are changing. Baby boomers are going to retirement. I don't know if you know, but every single day, about 10,000 Americans are hitting the age of 65. It's an incredible number if you think about it. This will create many business opportunities. As Americans get older, businesses that cater to seniors will do well. That includes those in the healthcare, restaurant, entertainment, and leisure industries. The third fact I want to share with you: entrepreneurship is making a comeback. Last year, 70,000 new businesses started. 10% of Americans are now self-employed today, believe it or not. The internet is helping to reduce the barriers to entry so that small can be beautiful. Tax reform deregulations are also easing the cost of opening and running small businesses. Small business confidence, in case you don't know, reached a 20-year high back in April. Nobody says that entrepreneurship is going to be easy. Around half of the new business won't survive in 5 years from now. However, it can offer meaningful financial and emotional rewards and should be basically major drivers of the new economy. Now, finally, let me give you 3 pieces of advice that might help you succeed in whichever career path you choose to follow. Number 1, emotional intelligence, otherwise known as EQ, matters much more than IQ. And I should note, because most of my employees have a PhD and they have very high IQ, they have very low EQ. Okay? And guess what? Studies show that most successful executives of S&P 500 companies have average IQ, but have simply exceptional EQ. The most successful people usually are people with very, very high EQ and not necessarily high IQ. EQ is about self-awareness, empathy, and ability to manage your emotions as well as those of others. And believe it or not, unlike IQ, EQ can be actually learned. Every employee on my team goes through EQ training the first year. It will make you a better manager, in my view, a better team player, and ultimately a better person. I get so many letters from the wives of my employees saying that the best thing I did as their manager is send their husbands to basically EQ courses. Now, the second piece of advice I want to give you is to think global. Globalization has been under attack lately, surely. However, let me assure you, it is not dead by any stretch of the imagination. Today, the US is only 20% of the world GDP, and that's not going to change. And guess what? General Motors today sells more cars in China than the United States. The ability to think global is no longer a recipe for success, but almost a precondition, I would argue. The third piece of advice I'm going to give you is that don't follow the crowd. The wisdom of a crowd is simply overrated. Don't be lazy. Think for yourself. As a macro strategist on Wall Street, I built a career by being a contrarian, by questioning everything I read. I'm not always right, but my successes usually stem from my willingness to challenge the received wisdom. The most important part of your education here in this school was to learn how to make decisions based on facts. Now go out and use it. I wish you all the best. Thank you.
David, thank you very much. With all those facts and figures, are you sure you don't have a little robot in you? I'm just like Okay, at this time we're going to confer the Honorary Doctor of Commerce on our commencement speaker, David Wu. I'd like to ask Chairman Harshbarger and our Provost Deborah Leahy to assist. Thank you.
We have a robot available?
David Wu, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of the New England College of Business and Finance and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Commerce, honoris causa, with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto, and which allows you to be invested with a hood appropriate to the degree. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
And by the way, our Alumni Association will be in touch with you shortly. Now I'd like to invite Diane Hessen back up to the podium as well to receive her honorary degree, doctoral degree in commerce. Diane, I was going to add horticultural to that, but about your flowers, but okay. Diane Hessen, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of the New England College of Business and Finance and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Commerce, honoris causa, with all of the rights and privileges pertaining thereto, and which allows you to be invested with a hood appropriate to the degree. Congratulations. Thank you. I'd like to invite to the podium now Deborah Leahy, our provost at NECB. Deborah.
Good afternoon. I have the distinct honor today to invite up our first student speaker. Today we welcome Jessica Montes as our student speaker representing NECB's graduate programs. Jessica's interest in human resources started in her undergraduate program at California State University, San Bernardino, where she earned a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology with an emphasis in industrial organization and a minor in human resources. Jessica's commitment to human resource management blossomed into a passion during her work at Target, where she served as human resource team member for 5 years. Jessica then worked for an employment law firm for several years, while also earning an undergraduate certificate in human resources. Soon thereafter, Jessica brought that passion to bear as a career development specialist for Brightwood College in Palm Springs, California. I'm told by her program chair, Dr. Carla Padalano, that in this role, Jessica has been able to use her human resource background and education to assist students at Brightwood College in finding not just any job, but the right job. Jessica makes a lasting difference in the lives of adult learners, similar to the adult learners we see here today. And today, Jessica earns her Master of Human Resource degree. While not studying and transforming the lives of Brightwood students, Jessica enjoys spending time with her family and her 3 closest friends of nearly 20 years. She truly enjoys cooking and spending time with her high-spirited 4-year-old daughter, Paige. And today we are certain that Paige is very proud of her mom. Please join me in welcoming Jessica Montes to deliver the address to the graduating class.
Wow. Good afternoon, class of 2018. My name is Jessica Montes. I am from Coachella, California. I can finally say I am a graduate from the Human Resource Management program, and it feels great. Today, I'd like to thank a group of people who have worked hard, had those late nights, and put a huge amount of effort to get to this day here in Boston, and that is you, family and friends. Parents, families, and guests, thank you so much for being here. Also, thank you for putting up with our insane schedules, probably some of our tantrums, but of course, to all of you graduates, we did it, we conquered, and now we have another degree under our belt. Our resume is gonna look pretty fancy. I'm not here to give you advice on what to do next, but I am here to give you encouragement. Some of us took this journey for that promotion at work, or pursue an interest in more depth, or because you wanted an opportunity to change careers, but for whatever reason that was, we invested in ourselves. We took that chance. We did something great for ourselves, which is something no one can ever take away from us. That is self-empowerment. We decided to stay up late, complete papers, projects, while still trying to maintain some type of sanity in our professional and social life. The education I received here from NECB truly helped me become a better professional in my line of work. Honestly, it helped me be a better me. I challenged myself. There were times where I just did not have faith in myself to complete the program. I remember it was the first time I really lost faith. It was the second week of my first course. I had emailed to my advisor at that time, Mr. Bill Lynch, informing him that I will no longer be able to continue the program. He emailed me back explaining the process of how to drop a class, but he also suggested that I email my instructor to see about working with him to continue through that course. In his email, he said, "We are all here to support you. Also, just to let you know, we want to do what we can do for you." It was that statement in which I felt I truly had the support on someone whom I've never met. The reason that statement put me at ease is because I received my bachelor's at a California State University where there were 200 to 300 students in a class and the professor did not know a student from the next. I knew choosing NECB was the best direction for me to invest in myself. Obviously, I continued with the course, and I just couldn't be any prouder of myself. It's an amazing feeling. Thank you to everyone in California that's watching. I love you more. Thank you to my family who continued to support on this journey, gave me the hugs that I needed throughout the day. Mom, Dad, you truly are the definition of unconditional love. To my sister, LaTanya, thank you for the encouragement and for always making me laugh. And finally, to my partner and our daughter, Paige, Rilo. I know times are rough. I wasn't always there for dinner, and especially I wasn't there for weekend events, for family events. I drowned myself in projects and homework, but thank you for your continued support and for not giving up on me. Paige, my baby, mommy does not have any more homework. And thank you, NECB, to the wonderful instructors for being on this journey with us. And graduates, good luck out there. I do want to leave you with this quote from one of my favorite people, Ellen DeGeneres. Follow your passion. Stay true to yourself. Never follow someone else's path. Unless you're in the woods and you're lost and you see a path, by all means, you should follow that. Now, grads, we are the future. We are change. And let's go do what we're made to do. Thank you and congratulations.
Good afternoon. My name is Roger Powell, Associate Provost at NECB. Going back to school while working full-time and raising a family is a challenge that many NECB students face. Our undergraduate student speaker, Rolando Rodriguez, has faced this challenge and faced it with amazing aplomb. Rolando has been employed at Bank of America for 11 years and is currently a financial center manager there. An active member of his community, Rolando has volunteered with such organizations as Habitat for Humanity, March of Dimes, Closer to Free Ride, and the Stamford, Connecticut Thanksgiving Parade. Rolando is the proud father of 5 children, ranging in age from 12 to 6 years old. And now Rolando will also be a proud graduate of the Bachelor of Science in Business Administration program with a concentration in management. Upon graduation, Rolando hopes to start a real estate rehab business like those he watches on his favorite HGTV shows, and maybe he will have a little more time to watch more of them now that he's graduated. First, however, he is looking forward to taking his family on a cruise later this year. Please join me in welcoming our undergraduate speaker, Rolando Rodriguez.
Thank you. I don't know how I can top her speech. I mean, you did a really great job. First off, I want to thank the staff at NECB. You know, I'm getting emotional a little bit. I didn't think I'd be here. I didn't think I'd get to this point. And the staff was amazing. And I mean, just nobody's ever seen me before. I come here and everyone, you know, knew me. They're like, "Are you Rolando?" I'm like, yeah. So that made me feel special. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. So to begin, what is your story? That's a question that can mold your future when you look at the endless possibilities. My story starts with a person who was scared to go back to school. I'm sure that many of us can agree that being a working parent enrolled in school is no easy task. NECB made that task a little bit easier and manageable for someone like myself, who juggles being a father of 5 kids and working as a financial center manager for Bank of America. So I found out about NECB over 5 years ago through a partnership with my bank. I always wanted to go back to school, but I found every excuse not to do it. I knew that I wouldn't find the time, nor would I sit in a classroom, so when the representative for NECB spoke to us about online schooling, I had my doubts. I focused more on the tuition cost than the end game. For a year, I'd tell the representative, Amy, that I wouldn't consider it, but internally, I would consider it, but internally I was saying that I wouldn't. As I thought more about my career aspirations and what I wanted out of life, I realized that furthering my education would get me where I wanted to be. More importantly, I wanted to do something for my kids. I wanted to be an example that it's never too late to get your degree. I wanted my kids to feel proud to say that their father was a college graduate. I finally decided to get out of my own way and gave NECB the opportunity to help me understand what my future could be. You are your most important investment you can ever make in your life. Never stop investing in yourself. Think about those nights where you stayed up late because you had work due and your kids were sick, or you're working a long day and having to come home and write a paper last minute. Those are the moments that define our stories. The investment in ourselves for our future and the future of our families is what keeps us going through these difficult times. We start school in search of a degree to set a good example for our loved ones and end up with a greater self-confidence and better understanding of what we want out of life. Since I started studying here at NECB, I've advanced my career and am now seen as a future leader within my organization. Many of us found ourselves with thoughts of starting our own businesses because our newfound confidence and all that we've learned through our experiences. We gained the knowledge of how to go about starting our own business, what skills we need to do so. Now, while many business owners start a business without a formal education, I found value in furthering my own education to understand different aspects of business. And not only did NECB teach us how to be better leaders, but also the importance of understanding business as a whole. NECB isn't just an educational institution, but a community of like-minded people who are in search of more out of life. What I found most interesting was how the courses were structured with real-life scenarios in mind. Many of our work assignments were centered around businesses that we interact with daily. We had educators who made themselves available to us during and after office hours. We literally had professors who we could call or text on a Saturday or Sunday evening. Even though we may have been bothering them, they would respond and help us if we were struggling with something. When I talk to customers at the bank about why they should come over to bank with us, the point that I like to make to them is convenience. Now, when I think about NECB and why it's such an asset to the educational community and people like myself, convenience comes to mind. Since enrolling in 2014, I've studied straight through this year. I've taken my classmates and professors with me to countries around the world and never skipped a beat. They've literally visited Canada, Colombia, Barbados, Mexico, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Belize, Cayman Islands, and countless other US states without even knowing. So I firmly believe that without the convenience of the system here at NECB and my educators, I definitely wouldn't be where I am in my life. So to close this out, I'd like to say that my experience here has been amazing. I wouldn't have had it any other way. They've provided us with the tools and resources to make life easier and allow us to learn at our own pace. I'm forever grateful for everyone who I met and helped me along the way. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to not only make my kids proud, but to set an example for their futures. And out of everyone, they'll be happiest that I'm available to play video games instead of being on my laptop. Now our personal and professional brands can include college graduate. I wish you all the best, and I'm certain that each one of your lives will profoundly change because of our experiences and education here at NECB. Thank you.
And now I have the honor of introducing you to our Distinguished Faculty Member of the Year. So each year at the end of the school year, we ask that students vote for who they would like to see honored as Faculty Member of the Year. The criteria for the award is outstanding teaching skills, personal growth and development as a faculty member, devoting extraordinary time and effort in academic areas and activities, providing student development assistance outside of the classroom, as we just heard about, and we receive many nominations, and we read all of them. And it's a difficult choice because we have such amazing faculty members, as a lot of you have noted. There are many compelling nominations. This year, we are honored to recognize Dr. Marie Girardin as our Outstanding Faculty Member of the Year. Dr. Girardin is an attorney in Connecticut and has been teaching in the undergraduate and graduate programs at New England College of Business for over 16 years. She also teaches in the postgraduate commercial law program at University of Edinburgh's Law School in Scotland, where she was nominated for the Students Association Teaching Award in 2017. At both institutions, Dr. Girardin teaches corporate compliance, ethics, and international business law courses. Dr. Girardin has been very instrumental in curriculum development for NECB's Master of Business Ethics and Compliance program, making certain that the program is both relevant and current. Dr. Girardin's publications include Building a Compliant Organization that discusses how multinational corporations can achieve long-term growth by developing an ethical and compliant culture that gives back to society, a theme we've heard a lot about today. As a former community reinvestment officer at Fleet Mortgage and First Federal Savings Bank in Boston, Dr. Girardin worked closely with regulators and community groups to strengthen business and community ties. Dr. Girardin continues to advise multinational corporations on policies and procedures to improve human rights in the supply chain, as well as training and monitoring practice to advance stronger global compliance efforts. Dr. Girardin holds a Bachelor of Arts in International Affairs from University of Maine, a Juris Doctorate from New England School of Law, and a PhD in Professional Studies in Law from University of Minnesota. At NECB, we feel very fortunate to have Marie in our faculty ranks as our colleague and our friend. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Marie Girardin to address the graduating class of 2018 today.
Deb, thank you so much for those kind words. It has been an honor to teach at NECB for almost 2 decades. To me, it is an amazing place with outstanding people. I'm very touched to receive this award today. It is wonderful also to see so many students on graduation day. Your accomplishment is great. I agree with everyone's comments thus far that you have all juggled busy schedules to do something very special for yourself. It has been an honor and privilege for me to be working alongside many of you on your journey. Your diploma today represents something truly honorable. I applaud you for all your great work and dedication. I hope you all know that your diploma today comes with an underlying message that we all believe in you and are confident about your future accomplishments. I've spoken with many of you, either in discussion boards or chats throughout your program, about many business issues both at home and abroad. These business discussions normally revolved around compliance, ethics, and legal issues concerning business, and together we were always trying to figure out how to best learn from past case studies to build a better business environment going forward, whether it was labor and human rights in the supply chain or developing smarter and more efficient regulations on hedge funds. But this week, I've been thinking about education. In particular, the great value of access to education. I know that many of you have heard me use the phrase, a picture is worth 1,000 words, and in many credible cases, I think statistics can also provide a great snapshot and be worth 1,000 words. Recently, I was reviewing some 2017 United Nations documents, and although I was really looking at business reporting, a statistic really jumped out at me. 750 million adults worldwide are still illiterate. Only 27% of the people living in South Sudan can read. only 1 in 10 women in this African nation can read. 1 in 10. The point really is that education is so very important. To me, one of the best ways to improve education is access. That is just another thing that I think is so special about NECB. It provides tremendous access in a very supporting way. Whether students or professors are from rural areas in Idaho or downtown Boston, we are all taking part in educating ourselves and others. I would also add that many of you will continue or begin your life in business as decision makers and policy makers. We all hope that those decisions and policies include consideration, as everybody has talked about, of helping others who might need extra help. Many companies around the world reach out a helping hand to help communities and villages with programs that may or may not be directly related to the business that they do or the profits that they seek. After working with cases and developing in underdeveloped countries for so many years, it always warms my heart when I see corporate volunteers who might have a t-shirt that identifies them as Patagonia workers or Timberland Path of Service employee groups. It really is about companies and employees doing something extra, helping others, sometimes in small ways, sometimes in more corporate-wide ways. The emotional intelligence that Dr. Wu was talking about includes helping others. It has a tremendous impact. Actions are inspiring. So I hope that you all continue, and I know many of you do, to keep this as part of your business and personal efforts, and encourage others to do so also. I was standing in front of Anne Frank's house this past January thinking about the big picture and all that we do as corporate citizens, as global citizens. So I will leave you with a few words from Anne Frank. How wonderful it is that nobody need wait a single moment before starting to improve the world. Thank you again very much for this honor and award, and have a great day celebrating your accomplishments.
Thank you, Marie, for those inspiring words. So, all of you are graduating from a Boston-based college today, but we recognize that some of you have traveled to be here, some very far in Uganda, and some of you do not get to Boston regularly. Therefore, we would like to honor you with a song that has captured the hearts of many Bostonians, and we certainly hope it captures everyone's hearts here today. The song, Sweet Carolina, is typically sung for our beloved Red Sox. I hope there are no Yankees fans in the audience. But today we celebrate a different winning team, and that winning team is NECB's 2018 graduating class. So here to perform this classic Boston tribute, we welcome Vinyl Street, a Boston-based a cappella group that is known for its energy and passion that they share through all their audiences. They perform throughout Greater Boston, including the Fenway area. So please welcome Vinyl Street to the stage one more time.
Where it began, I can't begin to know it, but then I know it's going strong. Was in the spring, then spring became the summer. Who'd have believed you'd come along? Touching hands, reaching out. touching me, touching you. Sweet Caroline, good times never seem so good. I've been inclined to believe they never would. Congratulations, sweet Caroline. Good times never seem so good. I've been inclined to believe they never would. Oh, no, no, no.
Thank you, Vinyl Street, and good afternoon, class of 2018. My name is Dennis Madigan. I'm the Vice President of Finance and Administration at the college. And as we come together today to recognize and celebrate your determination, hard work, and remarkable achievements, we'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the college's dedicated staff who've worked tirelessly to support you throughout your educational journey. Each year at commencement, we present an Outstanding Staff Member of the Year award to one staff member who's gone above and beyond expectations to contribute to the positive experience of our students, as well as the collegial atmosphere in the NECB offices. And I can tell you with such a talented and dedicated staff, selecting just one person to receive this award is not easy. This year's award recipient is passionate about the college's mission of providing exceptional education programs to working professionals and is always committed to our students' success. In her 5-year tenure as a key member of the admissions team, she has helped put many students, including many of you here today, on the path to furthering their education to achieve their personal and professional goals. Regarded by your colleagues as always being attentive and compassionate in her student interactions, she strives to build authentic and meaningful relationships with prospective students to personalize the admissions process and make it as smooth and easy as possible. She is also well recognized for her in-depth knowledge of NECB's academic programs, which many students have relied on in making an informed decision as to the appropriate path for their educational pursuit. Please join me in honoring NECB's Outstanding Staff Member of the Year, Senior Admissions Representative, Veronica Bondole.
Good afternoon. I'm Jeff Cronin, the librarian at the New England College of Business. It is my pleasure this afternoon to grant the awards for the E-Library Award for Research. The E-Library Award for Research was created by the New England College of Business E-Library to encourage more and better use of its resources and collections, to advance information literacy at NECB, and to promote academic excellence at the college. Over the last year, more than a dozen research papers were submitted by NECB faculty and reviewed by a selection team. The papers submitted were evaluated based on their originality, depth, breadth, and sophistication in the use of the library and internet resources. This was a difficult decision because some exceptional papers were submitted. The award that we'll be granting is a Kindle, and these papers will also be posted at the e-library as examples of the very best research produced by our students. The committee chose 2 students to receive the award this year. The first winner is Brett Burns for his paper Analysis of an Unsuccessful IT Project. I now invite Brett to come to the stage to receive his award. The second winner is Nicole Warner for her paper, Progression of Performance Reviews. Nicole is not able to join us today, but we'll be certain that she receives her award. Thank you.
Hello, class of 2018. I'm Paula Bermonti. I'm the Vice President for NECB's Center for E-Learning Excellence. And on behalf of the NECB Alumni Association, it is my pleasure to introduce Charlene Malcolm, our Alumni Association President. Charlene is a real advocate for the college and for its alumni, having earned her bachelor's degree in business administration from NECB back in 2013. She then went on for her master's in business ethics and compliance from NECB in 2014. She is now pursuing her doctorate in business leadership. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Charlene Malcolm, the NECB 2018 Alumni Association President.
Wow. Congratulations, graduates. You did it. After your hard work and dedication, you've earned your NECB degree. Give yourself a round of applause. On behalf of the NECB Alumni Association, we applaud you for reaching your important milestone. As you now embark on the next phase of your life, know that you're not in it alone. You're a distinguished member of the NECB Alumni Association. Cultivating an ongoing relationship is important, not only to me, but to our NECB family, because we are a family. I encourage you to participate in the NECB Alumni Association. As an active member, you will be doing your part to make NECB and the alumni network stronger. So while you're traveling home and reflecting on this great day, I want you to consider the strength in staying connected, being informed, and remaining involved. Again, we welcome you, congratulate you, and look forward to helping you maintain your relationship with the New England College of Business and Finance. Thank you and congratulations.
And finally, we are at the part of the program you've all been waiting for. President Horton, woo! President Horton, I am proud to present to you the class of 2018 candidates for graduation. Each of these students has successfully completed the academic requirements for the New England College of Business and Finance. Please recognize them by conferring the degrees they have earned. I now invite my colleague, Vice President of Administration and Finance, Dennis Madigan, who will present each graduate to President Horton.
Thank you, Provost Leahy. At this time, I invite Program Chair Donna Veens to join me in presenting the Associate in Science of Business Administration degree recipients. Now, will the Associate in Science in Business Administration degree candidates please stand and come forward? Ermelinda Bala. Sydney Danielle Bartley. Loretta Samithia Ford. Magdalena Gala Hunter. Lori Jean Howlett. Lori Jean Lordry. Caitlin Lucier. Desiree Deandra Ortiz. Ricky Pate. Sandrine Green. Shalima Michelle Peoples. Jill Policino. Jody Radford Holmes. Latoya Nicole Robinson. Sunita Shudat Polchansing. Milagros Texador Mafushi. Now at this time, will the Bachelor of Science in Business Administration degree candidates please stand and come forward. Janet Lynn Albert. Mufan George Bassi. Rolando Rodriguez. Amanda Brown. Jana Renee Blake. Michael Canny. Patricia Coakley. Amy Costello Martel. Betsy Elisa De La Rocha. Elsa Maria Delgado. Angela Delano. Martina Marie Diamond. Lee Ann Drost. Marina Zvanknik. Kareem Ellis. Amy Lynn Estrella. Ayo Odomore Ivane. David John Falcone. Daniel Fiorica. Amanda Guzman. Shireen Michelle Hamoudani. Leah Garcia Hasselman. Valeria Kasakova. Lady Londono. Richard Isaiah Lopez. Rosemary Luciano. Taylor Masson. Unjali Paranjape. Caitlin Marie Regan. Timothy Justin Rodriguez. Natasha Natalie Roberts. Rebecca Marie Roderick. Roberta Melinda Salafia. Alyssa Dawn Sandel. Kathy Schiller. Mary Shaw. Amrita Shrestha. Caitlin Marie Stapleton. Gwendolyn Suber. Navlet Althea Thompson. Umberta Varayo. Deanna Wilson. At this time, will the Bachelor of Science in International Business degree candidates please stand and come forward? Candidate. Tersita Tetsuik. Now will the Basic Accounting Certificate candidate please stand and come forward? Krista Tracia. At this time, I invite Program Chair Dr. Janine Jakes to join me in presenting the Bachelor of Science in Digital Marketing degrees. Now, will the Bachelor of Science in Digital Marketing degree candidates please stand and come forward? Donna Marie Madigan. Justin Francis Richall. Brittany Renee Smith. At this time, I invite Dr. Robert Antonucci, NECB Board of Trustees member and immediate past president of the National Graduate School of Quality System Management, to join Dr. Janine Jakes in presenting the Bachelor of Science in Quality Systems Management degrees. Now, will the Bachelor of Science in Quality Systems Management students please stand and come forward? Cody Lee Chick. Paul Wesley Hamilton. Ian Johnson. Karen Elaine Kukis. Shayna Elaine McGill. Nina Patel. Jeffrey Evett. At this time, I now invite Program Chair Dr. Carla Padalano to join me in presenting the Master of Business Administration degrees. Now will the Master of Business Administration degree candidates please stand and come forward. Nathaniel Arminio. Heaven Barros. Kimberly Ellen Bean. Andrea Marie Blanchard. Brett Burns. Jagruti Chond. Anastasia Scher. Christopher Coley Sr. Rachel Elizabeth Collins. Antero Velo de los Reyes III. Patricia Donaco. Nicolette Simone Forrest. Therese Monte Haynes. Janine Hodge. Todd Anson Hughes. Quan Lee. Catherine Ann Machado. Jenna Morgan Mazanek. Patrice Nicole Morrison. Leonora Mariana Nycom. Julie Marie Pierce. Amanda Page Pelletier. Shalia Radin. Merritt Sar Beckles. Anwar Wallace. Margaret Warner. At this time, will the Master of Human Resource Management degree candidates please stand and come forward? Ramona Davis. Lindsay Ann Fernandez. Jessica Lynn Montes. Michelle Rivers. At this time, I invite Program Chair Deborah Cementa to join me in presenting the Master of Business Ethics and Compliance degree candidates. Now, will the Master of Business Ethics and Compliance degree candidates please stand and come forward? Jocelyn Lease Arsenault. Dorcas Asensio. Aleshka Burgess Colon. Brianna Marie Gerhardt. Mercia Kadich Maksumich. Samantha Monash. Shelley Audrey Sequin. Rachel Skaransky. Angela Stewart. Lucila Velasquez. Amelia Walton Williams. At this time, I invite Program Chair Dr. Sam Rindell to join me in presenting the Master of Healthcare Management degrees. Now, will the Master of Healthcare Management degrees candidates please stand and come forward? Gina Maria Leary. Rodine Rowe. At this time, I invite Program Chair Dr. Ned Gandavani to join me in presenting the Master of Science in Finance degrees. Now, will the Master of Science in Finance degree candidates please stand and come forward? Ryan Adam Testagrossa. At this time, I invite once again Program Chair Dr. Janine Jakes and Dr. Robert Antonucci to join me in presenting the Master of Science in Quality Systems Management degrees. Now, will the Master of Science in Quality Systems Management degree candidates please stand and come forward? Zalini Naomi Bagru. Seth Andrew Bova. George Stephen Cabrera. Imeo Fitzgerald Carter. Julissa Patricia Davila. Jose Luis Duran. David Millington. Mario Sandoval. Matthew Harold Fountain. Ronald Butos. David William Garkey. Felicia April Sauer. Virej Isanians. Tu An Tran. We are so honored today to be welcoming our first Doctor of Business Administration in Quality Systems Management degree candidates. Each candidate will bring his or her hood to the processional line for the traditional doctoral hooding. I am pleased to invite once again Dr. Robert Antonucci to join the processional line to assist Provost Leahy with their doctoral hooding. He's already there. Now will the Doctor of Business Administration and Quality Systems Management degree candidates please stand and come forward. Quinton Prescott Ellis. Jeffrey George. Kesha Hollifield. Robert Myers. Doreen Nansima Kasozi. Kevin Richardson. Congratulations to all graduates.
I'm just looking for the legal part. Distinguished guests, graduates, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the conclusion of our official program. But at this time, I would like to ask all graduates to please stand. By the power vested in me by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and by our accrediting agencies, I now confer upon you the degree to which you have earned and all its rights and privileges. We just have one more thing to do. Graduates, as a symbol of your New England College of Business and Finance graduation, we will now perform the traditional swinging of the tassels on your caps from right to left. 1, 2, 3. Please sit down. Please sit down. So thanks to our graduates and thanks to all our speakers and thanks to a wonderful audience. It's truly a proud moment for us here at NECB. This is a great group of graduates and we know they're going to be successful. I want to thank you for joining us and making this an occasion that was very memorable in the lives of our graduates. So I'd like to ask you to remain seated until the platform party and all the graduates have exited the auditorium. I also want to take this opportunity to invite you to join us in the Dorothy Quincy room downstairs, where we will have light refreshments. We will now begin the recessional. The order of the recessional is stage party, then the audience party, followed by graduating students, and then friends, families, and supporters. And again, thank you for being here. Congratulations, class of 2018.
school. I did graduate in tech school, and that was all bullshit.